49er quarterback Brock Purdy asked about his name popping up in the gambling odds, being right near the top. It's either Brock Purdy or Dak Prescott as the MVP leader. Not that it matters. They don't give out the award until after the season, but nonetheless, it's something that gets talked about on a weekly basis this time of the year. So if you didn't see this, what did he say? Maybe you missed it. So Brock Purdy admitted he would not be in the conversation for the MVP award if it was not for his teammates. He said, quote, "If anything, I look at it more as a team award," Purdy said in a weekly radio appearance. "I have a great surrounding cast that are making plays. That is a testament to the team that I have," close quote from Brock Purdy. So let us discuss. The question is, how do you unscramble the message from Brock Purdy, as we are here to parse the words of the 49er quarterback? So I've got Card Shark, Tinseltown, and Syringe. And we will combine all of these things together, and we are going to make some sourdough bread. Because many 49er fans think I have a sourdough attitude when it comes to Brock Purdy, and I don't. That is incorrect. That's a bad take by you. So, you're just a Rams fan. Listen, all right. So number one. Brock Purdy is a statistical monster. He is monster mashing for the 49ers. He has played spectacular football. Now, that said, I have not changed my position. Both things can be simultaneously true, that Brock Purdy is putting up statistically great numbers, and he is a system guy. He's not the straw that stirs the drink. It's nice of him to admit, and that's the way I interpreted these words, parsing what he said, he's admitting this. Now, some will say he's just being classy, and that's what you're supposed to say. But remember, when someone tells you who they are, believe them the first time that they tell you. Brock Purdy is a card shark. He's playing poker when he's playing quarterback for the 49ers, and he's holding a royal flush. Brock Purdy, as a card shark, has a royal flush. Do you understand? He's got the ace, he's got the king, he's got the queen, he's got the jack, he's got the 10, all of the same suit. He's got the royal flush. When everyone's there, good offensive line, he's got Brandon Ayuk, he's got Deebo Samuel, George Kittle over there, Christian McCaffrey. Now, what happens to a system quarterback when you take some of those guys away because they get hurt? Well, let's see. We already know the answer, right? We know the answer. Brock Purdy, when you take away a couple of those guys, is a cube of sugar that is dropped into water. He dissolves. We saw that. For 3 games, he did not have a full deck to play with. And in those 3 games, the 49ers lost all 3, and Brock Purdy had a passer rating of below 80. And he had 5 interceptions and 2 fumbles in those 3 games. Wonder why. Interesting. All right, now page 2. Headline from Minnesota. There is a new captain of the Vikings sinking ship. Now, Minnesota did beat the Raiders 3-0. Whee! Whoop-de-damn-do. 3-0. Now, we learned that Nick Mullins, who came into that game against Vegas, Nick Mullins will be the new starting quarterback for the Purple People Eaters in Week 15. That's a Saturday special, Vikings and Bengals on a Saturday. Mullins replacing the Pastornaut, Josh Dobbs. Remember that story? Joshua Dobbs, a NASA guy, all that. And Dobbs was out midway through the game with the Raiders, and now he is out of the starting lineup. So the question on this one, are you convinced that Nick Mullins, journeyman quarterback Nick Mullins, better option for the Vikings at this point? So am I convinced? No, I'm not convinced. A couple of quick takes on this. Joshua Dobbs, I gave him the curse. If you watch the TV show Benny versus the Penny, we were pumping the tires on Joshua Dobbs after a couple of games there. And ever since then, broadcaster jinx was in effect. Joshua Dobbs has been drowning. I'm not going to argue with that. That's the reality. The numbers speak for themselves. And Kevin O'Connell, the coach in Minnesota, has lost faith in Dobbs. We knew that when he threw all those interceptions against the Chicago Bears in an island game. Nevertheless, as they say in Tinseltown of actors, Nick Mullins, I've seen him play. I remember when he came onto the scene with the 49ers, and I my first impression was like, this guy's pretty good. But the more you watch him, Nick Mullins looks the part, but he can't act, right? He has the appearance of a pretty good quarterback. You know, he seems like he owns the huddle, and I'm sure he looks great in practice. He's not the tallest guy in the world. He's about 6 feet tall. He's got the appearance and the stylistics for the job. However, we've seen him play, and Nick Mullins lacks the necessary skill set to perform consistently, effectively as a starting quarterback in the NFL. My evidence, he's played 25 games. He's been all over the dusty Winnemucca Road with the 49ers, the Browns, and the Vikings. And Mullins, there's always a glitch. There's always a hitch in his giddy-up. It might not happen right away. Maybe you get away with it for a game or two, just like Joshua Dobbs. My money is on Dobbs coming back and starting a game again. What the Vikings ought to do, this is what I would do. I was coaching the Vikings. What I would do is I would have Nick Mullins take all the snaps all week, and then about 10 minutes before the game, I would tell Joshua Dobbs he's starting and just see what happens. See, remember when he came over from the Cardinals, he had no practice and he won the first 2 games and all that? All right, final point. Headline from New England. We don't often talk about offensive linemen. Why would we? But Trent Brown made some headlines. That is an offensive tackle for the Patsies. And Trent Brown essentially said the Patriots didn't respect, R-E-S-P-E-C-T, they did not respect Malik Cunningham. This news came out from Trent Brown after the aforementioned Cunningham, who was the 3rd or 4th string quarterback, depending on how you look at the depth chart, was reassigned, or I should say signed, by the Baltimore football team. So Trent Brown making some headlines here saying the Patriots did not respect his former teammate, Malik Cunningham. How do you evaluate Trent Brown's commentary on a rather nondescript Patriot roster move? So the first thought I have on this, it is a syringe of reality. It is a syringe of reality. Now, it is true that Bill Belichick does not respect or think that Malik Cunningham is any good. How do we know that? We know that because how many plays have you seen Malik Cunningham on the field? Right? And if the Patriots did think, if Belichick did think that Cunningham could play, he would have used him. He wouldn't have put him into a situation where he could have jumped to another team. New England right now has a blank spot on the bingo card at quarterback. There's nothing there. They've got nothing on the bingo card at quarterback. Instead, Cunningham has passed around the practice squad, roster, practice squad, like a collection plate. He's passed around like that. Now, the problem, when dealing with the media, as a professional athlete, you are required to be disingenuous. You are supposed to be insincere, and you have to be phony. That is the way you deal with the media. And fans have become programmed. They have been indoctrinated in that. The meathead fan, the low information fan, they need that. They need to be lied to. And the media expects it. And if you play for Belichick, he especially expects it. So what does this tell us about Trent Brown, offensive tackle for the Patriots, when he says the team didn't respect Malik Cunningham? It tells us that Trent Brown either doesn't believe that Bill Belichick will be back in 2024, so the gloves are off, or the other possibility here is that he's looking to leave the Patriots again. He thinks Belichick will be back, and this will help facilitate his relocation